Today on Rappler, China starts construction in Panatag Shoal, an area in the Philippines' exclusive economic zone. Justice Secretary De Lima asks deputy directors of the National Bureau of Investigation to resign. And the United Nations says more than 2 million people have fled Syria. Hello, I'm Natasha Gutierrez sitting in for Maria Ressa. Welcome to Rappler, your social news network. China starts construction activities in waters off Zambales within the Philippines' exclusive economic zone. On Tuesday, Defense Secretary Voltaire Gazmin says China has concrete blocks in Panatag Shoal or Scarborough Shoal. He says this is an obvious prelude to construction. Gazmin adds the department also noticed 3 Coast Guard ships in Bajo de Masinloc or Panatag. It's located 124 nautical miles from Zambales within the Philippines' exclusive economic zone. The Philippine Navy Maritime Patrol aircraft monitors the area every 3 days. Showing pictures from the Navy as of August 31, Gazmin says it's the first time the Navy monitored concrete blocks. He adds it's important that we have people stationed there so we can prevent the construction. We don't have that capability at the moment. Gazmin says the Philippines can only file a protest right now. It can also add to the evidence the Philippines can present before the International Tribunal for the Law of the Seas to protest China's aggression in the West Philippine Sea. The Senate Finance Committee approves the budget of the Office of the President, or OP, in just about 10 minutes Tuesday. Executive Secretary Paquito Ochoa Jr. and Cabinet Secretary Jose Rene Almendras did not have a hard time defending the OP's 2.82 billion peso budget for 2014. The figure is higher than the 2013 budget of 2.73 billion pesos. Only Senate Finance Committee Chairman Francis Escudero was present in the hearing. Escudero says there are no issues with the budget because the lump sum funds are not under the OP.
No issues. The lump sums you're mentioning are with the special purpose funds which the DBM will defend. It's not under the Office of the President. Even the item you mentioned, the social fund, it's not in the budget of the President. By tradition, even in the past, Congress usually allocates courtesies to the Office of the President, Office of the Vice President with respect to their budget. And if there are any issues with respect to the administration, it's addressed to the departments and not to the OP proper itself.
Minority Senators Tito Soto and JV Ejercito questioned the speed by which the committee passed the budget.
That's why if I was given the chance, I would have asked for yung bawa intelligence fund and the social fund on how it is being used. But we have to also give the President some space. No? Kasi nga, there are things that cannot be quantified right away, like calamity.
So most of us have not really studied it yet. So one thing we can assure you is that when it comes to plenary, we will have time to discuss and ask questions on every department, and that includes not only the Office of the President but the entire bureaucracy.
Palace officials explained the breakdown of the OP budget. Personal Services gets 641 million pesos, a 15.9% increase from 2013. The OP says the increase is due to the creation of the Transition Commission with 60 positions and the Office of the Cabinet Secretary with 62 positions. Maintenance and other operating expenses get 1.998 billion pesos, a 6.3% increase from 2013. Capital outlays get 183 million pesos. Escudero defends the President's social fund, saying it cannot be considered the President's pork barrel. Critics urge Aquino to scrap his own pork barrel following the controversy surrounding lawmakers' Priority Development Assistance Fund, where lawmakers allegedly gave their funds to dubious NGOs. Justice Secretary Laila de Lima asks several deputy directors of the National Bureau of Investigation, or NBI, to submit their courtesy resignations. The NBI has 6 deputy directors. De Lima appeals to 3 to 4 officials with, quote, trust issues to resign out of delicadeza. She does not name names, but says none of them are working on the case of alleged pork barrel scam mastermind Janet Lim Napoles. Her statement comes days after President Benigno Aquino told reporters certain individuals in the NBI are less trustworthy than others. It also comes a day after NBI Director Nanatos Rojas submitted his irrevocable resignation. On Tuesday, NBI Deputy Director for Administrative Services Edmundo Arugay submits a courtesy resignation effective September 14. Arugay is currently on an official mission abroad. De Lima says she wants to persuade Rojas to stay in the agency. The NBI is building a case against Janet Lim Napoles and lawmakers for the misuse of their pork barrel. De Lima says the filing of the cases could be slightly delayed because of Rojas's resignation. Moving on to world news. Syrian leader Bashar al-Assad warns Western military strikes risk igniting a regional war in the Middle East. In a newspaper interview, al-Assad warns the Middle East is a powder keg and the fuse is getting shorter. He adds everyone will lose control of the situation, chaos and extremism will spread. Assad also says France, which is prepared to back the United States in threatened military strikes against Syria, will face repercussions. Al-Assad also denies the Syrian regime is responsible for the alleged chemical attack last month, which the U.S. says killed more than 1,400 people. The United Nations Refugee Agency says more than 2 million Syrians have now fled their war-torn country, up from the 230,000 refugees registered a year ago. UN figures show some 4.25 million people are also displaced within Syria. In a statement, UN High Commissioner for Refugees Antonio Guterres describes the situation in Syria as a disgraceful humanitarian calamity with suffering and displacement unparalleled in recent history. In the past year, almost 1.8 million people have flooded out of Syria, and an average of 5,000 continue to cross into neighboring countries each day. The massive influx is placing an overwhelming burden on the host countries. Let's now look at Rappler's Wrap for today, a list of the 10 most important events around the world you shouldn't miss. At number 2, Nokia announces it's selling its mobile phone unit to Microsoft for 5.44 billion euros or $7.2 billion US dollars. Nokia will grant Microsoft a 10-year non-exclusive license to its patents. The company will focus on network infrastructure and services, calling it, quote, the best path forward for Nokia and its shareholders. Microsoft and Nokia joined forces about 2 years ago with handsets powered by Windows Phone software. At number 7, one of Japan's 2 remaining nuclear reactors is taken offline Tuesday, with the other to be shut down September 15. There are no restarts in sight, with public hostility to nuclear power. The shutdown aims to allow the operator to prepare for inspections mandated within 13 months of the start of commercial operation. The 2 reactors were restarted in July 2012, the only units to be brought back online in the aftermath of the March 2011 disaster at Fukushima. And at number 10, 64-year-old Diana Niad swims into the history books on September 2 after completing a 3-day crossing from Cuba to Florida, becoming the first person to do so without a protective shark cage. She finishes the 160-kilometer trek in 52 hours, 54 minutes, and 18.6 seconds. A visibly exhausted Niad tells cheering crowds she completed her quest after 4 previous attempts failed. For the full top 10, visit Rappler.com's The Wrap. Writers are lauded at this year's Carlos Palanca Memorial Awards, adding to the list of luminaries in Philippine literature. Carol Ramoran reports.
The Carlos Palanca Memorial Awards for Literature rolls out its 63rd awards. The most prestigious award for literature in the country, it's regarded as the Pulitzer of the Philippines. 58 of the 1,100 entries were honored Sunday. Rappler columnist Shakira Sison won the first prize for the regional division's essay category. Her essay, The Krakauer Table, delves into her relationship with her father.
When I found out I won, I was so happy because I've been trying on and off for a while. And so I was jumping up and down. But then I thought that maybe it would be too much of a production for me to go home for this. And then my wife was like, you need to do this.
University of Santo Tomas professor Eros Atalia bagged the grand prize for the Nobela category in Filipino for Tatlong Gabi, Tatlong Araw. This is Atalia's second Palanca. He published a couple of books. One of them turned into a movie.
Natutuwa ako kasi nakita siguro ng mga judges yung pagtatangka ko na may bagong putahing i-offer tungkol sa pagkukwento tungkol sa horror.
The late Carlos Palanca was a patron of the arts and educational institutions. Held every year, Palanca organizers maintain a high level of integrity in selecting winning entries. All work are submitted anonymously and thoroughly screened by the country's toughest judges for literature. Organizers say winning a Palanca is just the beginning.
And we expect that the writers would take up our challenge, write, and not only write, but share it with everyone. Because now we're in the digital age, we have the internet. That's why we're challenging everybody, because we're just the spark.
They felt it was a sincere voice. Like if you read the essay, it's very heartwarming, but it's not an entirely positive view of my father. So I guess maybe the judges sensed that kind of truth and the difficulty that I had, like writing a piece.
Carol Ramoran, Rappler, Manila.
Every story on Rappler has a mood meter, which gives you 8 emotions to choose from. Click how you feel and your vote comes down to the mood navigator in the middle of the front page, which crowdsources the mood of the day. It also gives you the top 10 stories with the most clicks. Let's check out today's mood navigator. A look at the mood navigator shows 4 different colors. Over to the left, 1 green circle, Napoles jailed at Laguna police camp. This story is about 2-3 days old. It has 85% of people feeling happy and 6% of readers feeling angry. Right next to it, another green circle, Taguig won't give up Fort Bonifacio. This has 78% of readers feeling happy and 15% of people feeling amused. And over to the right, a circle of a different color. This one is purple. Ateneo to file report on post-game fracas. This has 50% of people feeling annoyed and 28% of people feeling happy. All these stories contribute to the mood of the day. Today, most people are happy. That's Rappler's newscast for today, Tuesday, September 3, 2013. Visit Rappler.com and watch our newscast Monday to Friday. Tell us how you feel in our mood meter and help us crowdsource the mood of the day. I'm Natasha Gutierrez. As we say at Rappler, tomorrow begins today.